today we're gonna do a nice little simple painting that anyone could do. Sorry, I'm just checking if I have my mic. That anyone could do. Uh, Today is a nice little simple painting. And as you may notice, this video it says on the bottom as the title, Season 2. So we're starting a new season. Every season is 12 videos for me, and I'm just gonna keep on going from there. Now, let me tell you what I got done up on my canvas while that I'm gonna run the colors across the screen that you'll need to paint along with me. Okay, so I have a 16 by 20 inch canvas, and all I done was added a thin layer of liquid white. Now, if I have a hair, or if you have a hair, you probably can't see it, but if you get a hair, lay your brush almost flat and just lift up. Now get that little piece of hair. I don't know if you could see it. Let me see if I could focus. You can't really see it. But whatever. Um, you'll get the little piece of hair off, and it'll make your painting more nice. So probably by now they already ran all the colors, and we could get started. So let's get started with a 2 inch. Okay, let's go little phthalo blue, just a little phthalo blue. I don't want much. Oh, my brush had a tint of green, but it's okay. We're gonna do like a 4C scene, so it doesn't really matter if my brush had a little bit of green. Okay, something simple. Let me add a bit more blue into my bristles. I just want some areas that have more blue than others. Just dance it in, doesn't really matter. Now, I'm gonna wash my brush. As you may know, I wash my brushes with a mixture of oil, soap, and water because it's just not as toxic as a paint thinner. And usually I'll even clean better than paint thinner if you have the mixture just right. Okay. Let me really take out the excess. Okay, let me rinse out my brush. And I'm gonna just wipe off the excess soap or whatever. Just beat the devil out of it. Okay, with the clean dry brush, I like to beat it to break open the bristles. Just lightly blend and remove those brush strokes. Okay, now I want a couple clouds. So I'm gonna dance in maybe. Wait, let me add a little bit of liquid white just to thin it out and really um, be able to make the paint stick on. Okay, so liquid white, titanium white, liquid white. Tap the paint on the bristles. Just put it in there somewhere. My cloud lives somewhere around there. Okay, and I'm gonna put another happy little cloud. Okay, maybe there's a little more lighter. Okay, with that, we can start the foreground and everything else. Let's add a little bit of midnight black. Let's throw in a little sap green. Sap green is a really strong color, so you need to be careful with how much you put. And if you were to put too much and you want to tone it out or tone it down, you can add Van Dyke Brown and it'll tone it down so it won't seem as bright or whatever. I'm gonna take a portion of that, add a little bit of yellow, maybe white as well, a little black just to gray it out. I want like a distinct gray, greenish tone. Remember, the back is always the lightest, and working your way forward always becomes darker. That's why I'm making this lighter, and I can work darker. Now I have this nice little 1.5 inch angle brush. I load it up by wiggling the bristles on both sides and pulling through. That sharpens all the bristles, and we could come up here. Okay, something like so. Load it up just properly, because also if you don't load your brushes up properly, they're not gonna give you the right technique or right look. So you wanna load it up as properly as you can so it can work the best for you. I can lift up a bit. Something so delicate, but yet adds layer into your painting. Okay, now I'm gonna mix up a bit more darker green, just mixing up that dark and that light so I could get a middle, a between. Okay, that's a bit more darker. Maybe this foothill kind of gets lost in there. So all I'm doing is tapping the bristles onto the canvas. I can just lift up ever so lightly, ever so lightly. Now a bit more. I just need, I just want a little illusion. So lift up a bit, just lightly, and then I'm gonna mix up a darker color compared to all the colors. So let me get this color, more black. See, usually when you're painting, people always say use a small touch of black. It will darken up your color. Right here, gotta get a good pile of black before it makes a little bit of change. So I got that part. Now I could just wipe it off if I want to. I tap the paint first, then I wiggle the paint just to really get all the bristles with paint. Maybe maybe it lives right around here. And you could kind of see the contrast since each of them are getting darker and darker and darker. I used to struggle painting foothills with the 1 inch since it has a rounded corner. For me, was a bit harder. But now with that sharp edge, this angle brush doesn't have to be a 1.5 inch. It could be those small angle brushes. But these help me because if I line up the edges just right, oh, it gives me gorgeous effects and quicker and easier for me. But that's our little secret. There's something so simple and that could be done in a matter of minutes. Okay? Tapping that paint down, just tapping downwards. Lift up. Okay. So now that same dark color, I'm going to load onto my 2 inch. Doesn't really matter. I just want little lay in the land. Okay, but I want it to end sort of. Oh, I got a hair. Want it to end sort of like that. Maybe like that. I'm just sketching out a bit so I won't forget. I could always change it, come back, change it. This painting requires so much dark paint. So I'm just mixing up more dark paint. Loading my bristles. Pushing the paint. So you pull out and you push the bristles inward to ensure your brush is fully loaded. Just blend it out if there's any color difference. Now, let me put a little bit of water down below. Gotta be careful with both phthalo blue and phthalo green. Those are two strong colors. Okay, so I'm gonna take a step back just to really see where I'm at with the painting because it's good to step back and look at your painting, see if you're satisfied with it, if you want to make any changes. Hmm. Well, I think I'm gonna add a bit more dark color. Sorry if I sounded a bit far away. But I like it so far, but I know where I'm gonna go with this painting at this moment. So I'm at the 15-minute mark. I don't want to keep you guys here too long. Tap a little bit of cadmium yellow. That's too little. Okay, just a few little grass sparkles. This is somewhere you would go out and run barefoot with nature. Well, at least I would. This looks like a beautiful place. Okay, load a bit more cadmium yellow. Remember, loading your brush properly matters so you can get just the right look. And for grass, you pull out the paint, cadmium yellow, and you push the bristles. And if you load just enough paint and you load it just right, it'll give the painting some texture when it dries. Rather than looking flat and just normal, kind of loses the shape, the imagery, the look. Don't lose all your dark, but you want to blend most of it out or cover it. But you want to keep some of it. So if you see too much dark space, cover it up a bit. Now, I think I'm going to go into a little yellow ochre just to change things up a bit. Maybe a bit of white, liquid white. Remember, if one side of your paintbrush dries or doesn't have any more paint, flip your brush to the other side and there'll be paint on that side if you load your brush properly. Everything comes from loading your brush properly with enough paint and everything. I can't say it enough times. Load your brush properly. Okay, bit more. Same thing with your knives and everything. You gotta load them properly. You gotta practice because even if you were to load them properly, if you don't know how to do it, it's gonna come out good but not the best. So you want to practice over and over the same technique so you can nail it. I've been doing this for years now, probably like 3-4 years. It's been a couple years, so I kind of have the technique down, but I'm still uh, able to learn more. Okay, I think I'm gonna reflect some of it, so I'm just gonna grab a little bit of yellow, pull it down. If you put too much pressure when you're pulling down, the colors are gonna blend. So when you're doing this, don't put too much pressure. So this could turn out just beautifully. Go across. Now let's go into the dark color and let's go into Van Dyke Brown. Okay, now cut a roll. So let me show you. Just go across and you get that little roll of paint on the edge of the palette knife. And let's come back here. kind of just mirror it on. Don't worry too much about the grass. We're gonna come back there and fix it. So I'm just kind of rubbing the cross and also pulling the cross. And I have that dark ridge of paint. Now, let's mix that dark color with dark sienna and white. Leave it marbleized. So that's marbleized, not mixing it completely. Cut across. And by not mixing it completely, it'll give you these beautiful random colors mixed up. And it looks, in my opinion, a bit more natural. Okay? Now, let's go back to that cadmium yellow and that green as well. And just break up that straight line. Just diffusing it a bit. Now, I want it to sparkle a bit more over here in the bottom. So I'm just going to go into cadmium yellow and add a few little sparklers. Now, at this moment, I could call this painting finished and just leave it at that. But I'm going to keep on going since I want to add more stuff. But you could leave your painting here and call it done. Maybe there's a bush living right around here. Sorry if you can't see. Right around here, maybe there lives a nice little bush. So let's go into cadmium yellow. Loading your brush. You're not tapping the brush. You're just pulling across one side and light pressure. Now, if it doesn't stick on, add a little bit of liquid white. That'll thin out your paint and it should stick on. Just light pressure. Nothing too crazy. I remember the first time I was teaching one of my cousins to paint. He was putting lots of pressure into that brush. And I told him to think like you're barely touching and you're pulling across back. Like no pressure. It's really not that much pressure on putting bushes because bushes are really, really delicate. You know what? I'm gonna put some cad yellow and I'm gonna go into some white and just sparkle up a few little bushes. Just sparkling them. Okay, now you could get a palette knife and you could just, with the side of the palette knife, you could just scratch in what looks to be a few sticks and twigs. But do it in the dark. The dark will make it pop out more. Now, let's do bravery test. Let's do a big old tree. Okay, I mixed up that paint. It's getting a little chilly out here, but we could still manage. Load up my brush, wiggle the paint. Now, where do I want my evergreen to live? I think right around there. Just a little heads up, like right there. And I think I'm gonna do a push-up tree. Now, what I mean by push-up tree is the leaves are upwards instead of going down. So instead of pushing your brush, okay, let me get closer and show you guys. Instead of pushing your brush downwards, I'm pushing my brush upwards so the bristles could go up. That's the main difference with this type of tree. I think it would look good on this painting in particular. By the way, there's a number 6 fan brush. You can use a number 3. Okay, just a little bit. Just just like that. And painting, it's just an illusion. So you just gotta give, in my opinion, the best illusion you can possibly give. And that'll make your painting so good. I'll give it that factor. Okay. Now let me go into some yellow. Evergreens are pretty dark, so I don't want to lighten it up too much. I just want the indication of that green highlight because I don't want this tree to look black. Okay. You could always come back and add a few little lighter highlights. But if you put too much of a bright highlight, then you kind of lose that darkness of the tree. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of cadmium yellow. And this is lighter. Let me add a little bit of liquid white just to make it even more lighter and be able to stick on better. Because as you may know, a thin paint will stick onto a thicker paint. So all I want is for this layer to stick on. Okay, just pushing upwards. Let me stand back a bit. I like it, but it's just missing something. I just I can't wrap my finger just yet. But I'm gonna keep on going and see where we could end up with this. So load up my brush with midnight black. Maybe this one has a friend, this one tree. So same thing. I'm just using a clean, dry Number three, let's see if my tree comes out better that way. Okay, just like so. Okay, well, I got the silhouette. Now I just gotta put a little highlight. Just tapping lightly. These trees take up more time making because you kind of have to go slow with them. But if you have practice enough, then you can make these trees as quick as possible. Now, give me one quick second. I'm just gonna try it, give myself a bit more yellow. I have ran out, but I'm already back, so that wasn't too bad. So, a little bit more yellow just to highlight that dark. It's a highlight for the highlight. Little liquid white, a little bit more. Just something simple just to spark this up. Okay? So all I'm doing is pushing my bristles upwards and giving that highlight look. Okay? Now if I wanted to, which I think I'm gonna do, dip my brush in liquid white and just add here and there a few little sparkles. Now, if you had too much paint on your brush, just wipe it off and blend some of that liquid white. You just want a nice, or I just want a nice little sparkle. I don't want to overdo it too much. Okay, well, let's do, let's put a little cabin. No, there should be a cabin in this painting, and I think that's what's missing. First, I need kind of sketch out the cabin. Just sketch it out. Cut a roll of paint and just really, I like scraping, pushing the paint in there, and then going over with it with the brush to make things simpler for me. Something like that. Wrong brush. I'm gonna use this 1.5 inch brush with an angle. Right here it doesn't benefit me, nor does it make it harder for me. So it's just a brush that I'm just using. Nothing crazy. Okay, dark sienna white. Grazing that highlight. And then maybe right here, just a bit. Now, I'm gonna get a small palette knife. Same thing, but I want a bit more detail. Sorry about making this longer than I expected. I did not expect this to go this long, but we're almost done, I think. So just tapping, cut a slot for the door. Okay, now little highlight, little bit of liquid white. Well, that isn't my best cabin, and you know what? I don't like it, so I can always just change it. Oh, that looks so much better. As soon as I lightly grazed it, it looked much better. And since I had that little look of wood slabs, kind of benefit me. Okay, un momentito, por favor. No. Okay, let me fix that little doorway. And maybe, just maybe, let's make what seems to be a bushy, leafy area. I don't really know. Okay, we add liquid white. Okay, and I think with that, I'm gonna leave this painting and call it done. Sorry, I'm gonna clean my brush. But with this, it's kind of a basic sketch, and you can go off and maybe even put maybe a deer, a bear, anything really. It's whatever you can with your imagination. And if I do add a little animal, uh, I'm gonna stop the video here. But if I do put an animal, I will show it when the video's done. And I really hope you enjoy this painting. This is a nice little simple painting. It should have been quicker, but I slowed down because I had to stop to go pick up some paint time to time. But try this painting out. This easy painting, and I practice doing foothills and layers and pushing everything back. Until next time, happy painting and God bless.